Welcome to the Spearhead transmission.
Say that again.
Welcome to the Spearhead transmission. Make sure and subscribe below. Leave a comment if you'd like. Partake in the show.
Perfect.
Can't hear shit right now, right?
Huh?
They can.
They can't hear music.
No.
They can hear you.
Music.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Spearhead transmission. It's June 21st, 2017. It's time to break those chains and water that tree. Just reminded me that tomorrow's my wife's birthday.
It is?
Yeah, so happy birthday, honey, if you listen to this.
What? It's awfully
tomorrow.
nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
Happy birthday, Casey.
Oh, man. So I feel like we haven't done one of these in forever.
I know. We haven't.
It's been 1 week, right?
Has it just been a week?
Yeah.
Seems like forever.
Anyway, a lot of stuff been going on. Summertime. So cut us a break. We'll be busting our balls because we've been dragging ass.
We have been.
Summertime. You know, but we got a bunch of stuff on here from, I don't know if this is 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago or whatever, but.
No, this is all new.
I was going to say that, kind of like I was telling you earlier. So I bought a lockpick set off.
Well, yes, you broke my door.
Website. Yeah, broke Mike's door. I picked my lock numerous times. Picked some other locks. I've been practicing. Not a lot, right? More now lately because I was at work.
You're encouraged?
Yeah, I was at work the other day, and this guy was on the phone with someone. He was like, well, tell him to call a locksmith. And I was just joking around. I started shaking my hand. I said, I got a lock picking set. He's like, oh, wait. Wait. He's like, Brim's got a lock. First, he's like, some reason Brim's carrying around a lock pick set with him. And so he goes, can you pick it? I was like, I try, you know. So I went and worked out and then drove over to this job site after lunch. There's a Connex with one of those high security puck style locks with a cylinder that slides in and out, so you can't just cut it, right?
Right.
Because I told him, I'm like, why don't you just cut he's like, you can't. It's one of those ones you can't cut it. I'm like, all right. So I get out there. First thing I do is pull out the pick set, and it's in a square about this big, so I can't get the pick in there, right? And I was like, oh, shit. And then I was like, oh, wait, I got two small ones from that Ed's Manifesto class that came in that little kit that are about this long.
Nice plug.
Yeah, little, I don't know, 3-inch, 2-inch. So I had two of those. I put them in there and start messing with it. And I was like, which way does this thing turn, you think? He's like, I think it turns towards the back. So I'm sitting there and I'm popping them, and I can hear them, and I let off, and I hear it click. I was like, it rotates the other way. So I sound like I knew what I was doing, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So I'm sitting there, fuck with it for like 2 minutes, pop it open the Connex. There's high fives all around and everything. There's absolutely no reason for me to break into it because some guys came to pick it up right after that. But I was like, yeah, man, awesome. Left there, and since that time, like there was an email sent out that said, you know, Brim broke into it, picked the lock, and like now they call me Nikolai at work. I'm an Eastern European KGB agent that just works there undercover. They also said I got European style with my like brown shoes and slick back hair and shit. All kinds of shit. Like I'm a spy. But I was like, man, you guys need some locks pick. Give me a call. You know, I probably will never be able to do that again. You know. But
yeah.
It's funny, and there's two parts to that. One thing is, I've got absolutely zero training other than I watched a YouTube video and I read an online book on Amazon that was free called The CIA's Guide to Lockpicking.
For real?
Yeah. And I read it, and it's like 15 pages long, and it's not the CIA. It's like some locksmithing book, like some dude's book, right? And it says CIA on the front. But I read that. That's the extent of what I know. And I can get in. I can unlock my side door now in like less than 5 seconds.
Serious?
Yeah. But I cannot get my front door.
Your front door's impenetrable.
Yeah. So far, I haven't.
That's good though.
Yeah. It's I think it's like a cheaper lock set. But it made me think, right? So I have that crap in my bag,
Uh-huh.
and the other day I was reading the news and I saw that picture. And that dude kind of looked like me on that said, "Guy
Yeah,
breaking into
with the
with the bolt cutters, like was spotted breaking into a Connex box downtown at 1 a.m. So I was like, man, it looks like me. Joked around. I sent it to you guys, and I was like, what if someone did think that was me and called the cops, and then they came to work and got me, and then they're like, let me look through your bag. I got lockpicks. Yeah, like, hey man, this is totally just a hobby I just picked up, Like, all right, you got a pair of bolt cutters? Like, well, yeah, I got a bolt cutters in my house. I totally could get screwed, right?
Uh-huh.
And no one would believe
Got a black sweatshirt?
Yeah, no one would believe me. Who doesn't have a black sweatshirt?
Mm-hmm.
I don't ride a BMX bike, though, downtown at 1 a.m. on a
But you might.
Friday night.
That's your cover.
Yeah. No. So, one of the things, one thing I was wanting to talk about last week was, so there's all this shit in the news about Donald Trump, Russia, fucking Russia now. It's like, I don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to war with them, or shooting down Russian fighters in Syria.
I think it's exactly what we predicted, though, isn't it? Proxy war?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like Russia will spread, but anyway, so all this stuff, right? So right now, like all the Democrats, liberals, and everything are like, oh, it's time to impeach Donald Trump for this and that. He fired Comey for this, and it was not right and everything. And so they all feel like they've got this big, like we got him.
Mm-hmm.
We got this. There's going to be an investigation. He's going to get impeached or whatever, right? And I was thinking, before it was Hillary Clinton with Benghazi, like, oh, we got her.
Right.
And with Obama, it was his birth certificate, and then his mishandling of no, it wasn't mishandling. That was just a fake picture. The Osama bin Laden raid with all the people photoshopped in.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had something that was like the big like investigation into Obama's whatever, right? Other than his birth certificate. But none of that shit ever pans out, right?
No.
It's almost like when you hear people talk about their job, like, oh, there's this rampant sexual harassment, and my boss, he does this and that and this, and he's not. Something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen.
Dam's gonna burst.
Nothing's ever happens.
No.
People bitch and complain about their job or the president and whatever, and like how there's this, giant, all this evidence of corruption or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it never surfaces. Nothing ever comes of it. And like I looked up, because I wasn't sure like how many presidents have been impeached.
Uh-huh.
Presidents Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton were impeached by the U.S. House of Representatives, but acquitted by the Senate. Richard Nixon resigned before he could be impeached. So 3 presidents.
Uh-huh. No, 2, and 1 just resigned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the big deal about impeachment?
Well, even that, like, so Bill Clinton was impeached.
Yeah.
What was his thing? Was that
lying, right?
about saying a blowjob wasn't sex, or
I
he
guess.
didn't smoke weed? I know Nixon's was the
Watergate.
Watergate.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Watergate.
Uh-huh.
Like where he bugged the.
Yeah, the Democratic National Convention.
But what Bill Clinton get?
Yeah, it was banging Monica.
I have no idea what Andrew Johnson did.
Andrew Johnson.
Probably spit. In the
Andrew
fire
Johnson
when
was
there
after.
meat upon it.
Wasn't Andrew Johnson? That was after Lincoln, right? He was Lincoln's vice president.
I don't know.
Isn't that right?
I never understood the point of memorizing the presidents.
I don't know. I mean,
You remember in school
Yeah.
they say you should know who every president was. Like,
yeah. Why?
what am I going to gain from that?
Uh-huh. Let's see.
It's like memorizing every state's like national bird. What's the national bird of Nebraska?
Dude, he's a.
Fucking paper cup. I don't know.
He's got a horrible.
Is that the guy with that bad haircut? That's Andrew Johnson.
Yeah, right. That's his face.
Anyway, I hate to break it to any of our liberal listeners, but I doubt anything comes of.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Even if they could have a picture of him and Vladimir Putin
hugging a goat,
like changing names on voting things.
Oh yeah, together.
Well, you know,
I don't know why they would hug a goat.
Oh, neither.
I don't know.
Another thing I want to talk about, like, what is the deal with weightlifter guys in the Superman tattoo?
I don't know. What is the deal with the Superman tattoo?
I remember back in 2099, 2000, I think his name was Lee Priest. Was that his name?
Was
Lee
he the
Priest.
white one?
Yeah.
And then
little Englishman.
Yeah, okay, so the white guys have Superman tattoos and the black guys have Batman tattoos.
Yeah, Lee Priest had a Superman tattoo, and I remember thinking, like, God, that's kind of douchey, right?
Well, I mean, he looks douchey.
Yeah, he does. I used to think he looked cool.
No, not cool. He got a tattoo on his face now.
And so Lee Priest has a big Superman tattoo on his shoulder and a bad haircut. And looks like a homosexual.
He's gay. He's definitely gay. I mean, you
How
got
do those
right.
guys wipe their own ass. There's no way that guy can reach his butt. I mean,
Oh,
if he is, he's got to get like one of those, like those bands that people use to stretch their quads.
yeah.
Fucking guy's covered in tattoos now.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting a little chubby. Anyway, there's a guy at the gym.
Uh-huh.
He's not a big man by
He's
any
not?
means. He's a younger fella.
Right.
He's a little bit on the slim side, and he's got a Superman tattoo.
Maybe he just likes Superman.
I mean, he talks some serious.
Oh.
He's some serious talking points when I hear him working out with his bros.
Uh-huh.
He's like, I'm finally getting some size on my back.
Oh,
It's
he
about
is.
time. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm getting some size, putting on, and he says gains a lot.
Gains.
And what else do you say? Size, gains. I can't remember, but he's got a rotating group of workout partners. It's like, I don't know if they get tired of
Him, yeah.
and then new couple guys roll in. But he's almost like the girl that hangs out with really ugly girls to place themselves at a higher level.
Okay, so
right?
he's
So
so his homeboys are even.
He's got one skinny guy, and then the other guy's
The
like
fat guy.
Fat guy, yeah.
Okay.
And then there was some girl on the. Some of them are doing shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
which I always feel like I'm wasting my time when I'm working out my shoulders for some
Right.
reason. And I'm on the machine, and there's a girl on the clam spreader,
Mm-hmm.
but she's not sitting in the seat. She's
Standing.
She's elevated, right?
Yeah.
And she's got her butt stuck way
Yeah.
out in the air.
Mm.
And she had a big butt anyway. She had yoga pants on, and she's sitting there doing this. And I mean, it looked like her butt cheeks were coming apart.
Mm.
I mean, I couldn't.
Yeah. I got
an
you.
animal, like I was looking at it,
Savage.
trying not to be obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told that one guy, one of his friends, I was like, you guys got more self-control than I do. And he's like, oh yeah, I really feel this in my lats when I'm doing this, because they're started talking about their like, man, you guys.
That's your gym though. That's the gym that you work out in. It's full of those guys, right?
It's full of that gym sucks, man. I don't like it.
I don't know why you don't come back over to the other one.
Well, every time I say I'm going to,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, fuck, no, I'm just going to run and do this, get this done, and get back over here. So, I feel like I'm not going to run if I go to your gym.
You can go. I'm doing 2 a days now, so because I can't do running and work out at the same time and get a good. Can't get any gains.
Can't get
No size on me.
back.
Yeah.
Need a Superman.
So I wanted to talk about roller skating.
Did you go recently or
I
something?
did go roller skating. I took my daughter roller skating, and I wanted to say, dude, it is amazing to watch my daughter like have so much passion about something, right? Mm-hmm. And it's funny because at 6, to be passionate about something, you would figure it'd be something like roller skating or some. I promise you, man, I don't think I've ever seen my kid as fired up about something and I mean, taking dives, bam, falling down, but immediately, like, not wanting help either, like, not wanting me to, like, no, don't, just let me do it. I got it. Watch me, see how good I am, see the, this, right? And I was blown away, man. In an hour and a half, she's like, she's overworking herself the whole time, but she's learning. But
Uncle Nick be out there stomping around.
I was gonna ask you guys if you guys want to come soon. We're gonna go again. It's so cheap, dude. It's
Last time I went, there's a picture of me and I got cargo shorts on with a big ass crack sweat mark on.
Didn't
them.
you go Nora's
first
or her other birthday where they were all terrified?
Yeah.
Well, this one, man, I think you guys will like it. But I wanted to say there are some fucking weirdos at the roller skating rink. Dudes that should not be at the roller skating rink are at the roller skating rink for up to what? I don't know.
I guarantee you those fuckers can beat you at darts.
You think?
Hell yeah, man. Those guys are dart champions. Little mustaches and like nylon jackets and tight jeans.
Yes.
Fucking out there doing this with their feet.
Yeah. That's exactly them. Or there was a big black guy out there and he was all
in the bathroom too.
Had that moved down and was roller skating around. I was like, I don't know what's going down here.
It's the same thing. You could say, who wants to play darts? Like that scene in Spaceballs. Yo! Like everybody.
Yeah, everyone on there.
Or who wants to bowl? It's the same group. It's like a.
As long as they're there for that and not there to pick up kids.
There was some guy, adult. I don't think it was your last birthday party. I think it was I think it was another friend's kid's birthday. It was because anyway, I'm confusing everyone. There was a guy there that was talking to Ray about his skates. And he said, "Yeah, these are like $400 skates, man. Like roller skates, and serious.
Like roller skates?
They were roller skates.
Not even
suede, like roller skates, $400. And Ray raced him, right?
Uh-huh.
Did a loop. And
Did Ray win?
I think he beat him, but I think he cheated. But
Ray cheated.
Yeah.
We're grown men and we're racing.
Yeah, but who the fuck
buys $400 skates?
Roller skates.
I don't know.
Right?
But that's the thing. They must be passionate about roller skating.
I mean, I'm all for it, right? Because I guess it's some form of exercise, or
it's exercise. I get it.
Good time, but
But you figure that if that's the case, like they should have there should be adult roller skating. Like,
well, I don't think they have. There's not very many places you can go anymore to roller skate.
I don't know, man. It's just it was weird.
Skating rinks always held a special place for me growing up.
Yeah.
It's always ever since I can remember going. Like the first time I ever went was in Anadarko, Oklahoma, and I went with my friend Brody, who
Brody.
He's probably in prison now.
Old Brody.
His mom and his older sister, who was like totally 80s hot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I even then I remember like just full of some lady got in trouble for using this term the other day. It was full of white trash.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, right?
Yes, it is. But I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, it's fun as hell.
It's fun. I enjoyed watching all the little kids out there with like all the walkers. They'd all fall down. It looked like an old folks home where they're all just old people laid out, but trying to get up and.
Here comes a guy 6'3" with tight jeans on and a t-shirt and a little mustache flying through him.
Doing
stuff.
just like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man, you are good at roller skating.
Good job. You're 37 years old.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I'm 42. You want a Marlboro Red? Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Do you have any whiskey in your truck? All right. What do we got going on?
So we got a guest.
All right. Okay, YouTube. We're still on.
On this?
No, on this, on Skype.
The Skype. I'm going to Skype him and say.
Are you texting him?
Yeah. watching the YouTube, or is it just you and
I don't know. Just nobody.
Who's Ecuadorca?
I
Did you
don't
see
know.
that new like on our Facebook page? We welcome you, Ecuadorca.
Ecuadorca? For
That's
real?
her name. She's from Poland.
Huh.
We hope we keep you as a listener.
Yes.
And Jason. A new like from Jason.
Just Jason?
Steven, James, Michelle. She's liked it for a while now.
Oh,
But she was brought in by Ra.
okay.
Ra the Impaler. She's got a sweet truck. Sweetness.
Did you post on Facebook? I don't ever post there anymore.
No. I just realized we're not recording. Just on the YouTube.
Is he good?
He didn't reply back, so.
He's on, I think.
Are we recording? Podcast?
Jay. Hello. Hello.
How you doing?
Hey, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Does that sound echoey to you?
I can't even hear anything.
No, it sounds good. I'm about to pull my driveway in about 15 seconds.
Oh, okay. We'll give you a second then. I wonder if we should. It sounds like I need to turn him up. So.
I need to be troned.
Huh? Trond. Let's see.
What's up?
Hey, do you want to do video or no? It's up to you.
Are you guys doing more video now?
Yeah, I mean, we just keep it. It sucks, but we do it just in case. You know, like you kind of told us just kind of keep doing it, and that's what we're doing. It's up to you. We don't have to.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about it. You have to give me a few minutes because I'm just getting out of the car here.
What do you want to do? Yeah, we'll just let you get comfortable regardless. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
You know what? Let's just let's see.
How are things going?
Doing good. Doing good.
Stats? Your stats growing?
You know what? I haven't paid too much attention to it at all. As far as the YouTube channel, no, not really. But you know.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Yeah, no problem, dude. No problem.
So, you know what I noticed is that, I mean, I think you can still do the long form stuff, but I've noticed that the 5 to 12 minute videos get 10 times more views.
Yeah, we've kind of heard that same thing.
Yeah. We just kind of keep it.
So I've had a lot more success lately with do the 5 to 10 minute videos. And I think if you wanted to do the long form, what you could do is like split it up by section, and then, you know what I mean? Like put up like a 10-minute section on one topic and then 10-minute section on something else. I think that's what I'm going to start doing.
Yeah, we're just kind of keeping it just so that the catalog is there, right? Like later.
Yeah.
See, we tried to shorten our show a while back, and then everyone was complaining that it was too short.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, we like the long ones better. So
I think it's the
I do
like,
too.
you know, the niche. I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah, as far as the podcast play goes, you know, like the plays over iTunes, those are increasing.
Sure, right.
You know.
Okay, that's good. Well, you know what you can do too is do your long form show, upload it, and then pick like, you know, the best 10 minutes or something.
That's true. It's definitely true.
And upload both.
Yeah. Get like the best of or whatever.
Yeah. All right. So computer's turning on. It should be ready here in a second.
Cool, man. I figure what we can do with this is just do like kind of a throwback. It's, you know, because we've had lots of new listeners, and maybe kind of just reintroduce you to them. You know,
okay.
And then, you know, talk about whatever's on your mind. Did we lose you? I think we lost him, huh?
yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna piss real quick.
Okay. Can you see on the? Can you see on YouTube?
I see a picture of him. I don't see him. Is that
Yeah.
what you mean?
Yeah. Remind me to hit record on that. How about now? It's still okay.
All right. You want to you make a call back?
Yep. I'll do that. Okay. Hey.
Hey.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me move that over there. Yeah, you sound really good.
Okay, good.
It's much better, much better. All right, man. I'm just gonna give you I'll give you a little brief intro, and we're going to give you some music, and we'll be back, all right?
Okay.
All right. All right. So on the line with us tonight is Jay Dyer from Jay's Analysis. Jay's been with us many times in the past. He did a debate with Adam Kokesh, and he's probably the most returning guest to our show. He's become rich, famous, and I guess medium to the stars. Not really. He's not a medium to the stars. He's a public speaker, electro comedian, and an author.
TV show
he's
host.
a TV show host. Like, he's got a new game show as well. And author of the popular title Esoteric Hollywood: Sex, Cults, and Symbols in Film. Dude, did you know that book made it to #1?
Yeah.
On Amazon?
Yeah.
Yes. Dude's he's big time. He's getting big time. You can subscribe to his site for $4.95 a month or $60 a year. jaysanalysis.com. Jay, are you there with us?
I am. What's up, man? How you guys doing?
We're doing good. Glad to have you.
Yeah. It's been a fun couple of years. I think it was 2.5 years ago, first time I was on with you guys, and a lot of crazy shit's happened in the world and in the U.S. And with Jay's Analysis and with Spearhead Transmission.
Yeah, you've grown astronomically, right?
It's grown pretty good. Yeah, I'd say it's probably about 5 or 10 times bigger than it was audience-wise 2 or 3 years ago.
That's excellent, man.
Yeah, congratulations.
You know, Jay, we have a lot of new listeners. Obviously some of our listener base came from you, right? Like, I mean, they were fans of you, and then they like our show and they like the format, but we do have a lot of listeners that maybe not have heard of you yet.
Mm-hmm.
And let's give them a little breakdown of what you do exactly.
Yeah, sure. Well, I like to write a lot, so I basically just reflect all of my various interests in articles that I write about, and a lot of times that's economics, it's philosophy, it's geopolitics, it's Hollywood, it's film analysis, you name it. It's all kinds of stuff. So a lot of satirical, goofy articles as well. So I kind of just put all of my ideas out there, really, and been doing that for about 8 or 10 years, blogging wise, and then it just kind of snowballed into doing all this other stuff and writing a book and collecting the essays, and that was partly coming out of my grad work, which was dealing with psyops and fiction and espionage fiction and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been a wild, crazy ride, but I'm in the last year I've gotten into doing a lot more videos and trying to expand the reach and the audience through the videos, and it's been successful. I'm glad to be my own boss. Mainly is the best part of it. I don't have to have a 400-pound bitch woman screaming at me for not coming in at 8:05 a.m.
That's definitely liberating, I'm sure. So your bread and butter, like what we found you on, was your film analysis, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that was is that kind of what gave you your start?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. I had an old blog back in the day, like 11 years ago, and it actually kind of got fairly popular. I was getting a lot of links from Rents and David Icke even back then, and I remember I called into Alex Jones, and he had me on one time for about 30 minutes, and at that time I was a lot more into political activism and pretty dedicated to Ron Paul and that kind of stuff, and I kind of lost a lot of interest in the political sphere for a while, got very agnostic on that, and focused on doing grad work back then, and I really got into film and film analysis, had some really cool film classes in college, and just kind of reoriented my approach, and instead of trying to focus on political activism, I recalibrated everything to be more of a branding of Jay's Analysis as me and my take on things, and just kind of being a personality. And I know that might sound a little narcissistic, but I think you guys have figured that out with the podcast. I mean, that's kind of what you have to do if you want to do this kind of stuff to be successful. I mean, you can be a guy who just writes papers or essays or research, but you're not going to get the reach that you probably want to get, if you can integrate other skills like being a total fucking retard and acting ridiculous like I do in the midst of trying to have serious analysis. So I guess that schizophrenic aspect of it is has, in a weird way, kind of has an appeal. But yeah, so it's the film analyses, like you said, that's probably about 80% of the traffic to the website is that kind of stuff. And then oddly, it only makes up probably about 30% of the content, but most of the traffic. So, that just speaks to our culture. I guess everybody's drowning in entertainment. So, if you really want to connect with people, you kind of have to speak the language of entertainment in some way.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's a dominated culture by entertainment and by movies. I mean, we're hammered with them, and if you think about it, it's that box that you sit in front of in the evening, and it's
what drives America, though.
It does drive America, and so there has to be people out there that want to know. Like over time, they're like, well, man, this. I start to see things, or you start to see the symbolism in things, and you start to see it, or a common thread in things, and then people want to know what's going on, and because sometimes it's very blatant, right? Sometimes it's right there in your face, and sometimes it's more hidden or more esoteric, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think so. One of the things I focus on is the idea of revelation of the method, which is this idea that you can kind of reveal ahead of time what you're going to do in a fictional means. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of what espionage writers have been doing this for a long time. They've been, maybe because of official secrets acts or something like that, they can't write what the real story was or might be. So they, in like the mainstream press, so they'll write a fiction story that encodes the real message. So that's been going on in spy fiction since the beginning, all the way back to the British Empire and British writers. And then you kind of have that same tendency into Hollywood for most of the Hollywood period. And you could go back even further to, Shakespearean era, Elizabethan era, and a lot of those guys were spies too. So there's a long precedence for a connection between government intelligence agencies and acting in Hollywood, as odd as that may seem. And when I first started looking at that topic, it was just kind of a side interest. I didn't really think it would turn into something I'd write a book about or anything like that, 10, 12 years ago. But what I think amazed me was just how intertwined those two worlds really are and have been historically. And it really blew me away. And I had no idea it would be so intertwined, up to the point where a couple of years ago, Ben Affleck can come on The Guardian and say that the CIA and Hollywood are, basically kissing cousins. There's CIA everywhere in Hollywood. So then you start finding a lot of academic books that talk about this. And the reason that matters is not just because of some fringe fixation, but because the entertainment industry shapes culture. And then what you start to realize is that, the CIA is not so much involved in James Bond bullshit, but more so involved in culture creation. That's a big part of what the government apparatus in all of its agencies and forms is interested in doing, is crafting propaganda, influencing things. Even shows like Cupcake Wars has Pentagon funding, believe it or not. And they'll insert, ideas of recruitment or negative portrayals of whoever the enemy of the week happens to be. Anything like that can be part of the propaganda. So, there's just all kinds of different angles and layers by which you can look at entertainment, Hollywood, culture, from these different vantage points, from the vantage point of propaganda, from the vantage point of marketing, from the vantage point of the deeper esoteric stuff at times, depending on the director or, what's going on. It's just a whole fascinating world that not really many people have, put a lot of time into. It's very few and far between, the people who research that topic. But I just found it interesting, and so I just kind of dove in.
I think that by digging in, like the way that you said you could dig in, is you get deeper than what most people. I think what most people will say is that, it's just the narcissistic nature of the state or of government or of the control mechanism at the time, by just putting that out there like, yep, this is what we're doing. We want everybody to know it, but we're going to do it in a veiled way. But what you're saying is that it's more than that. It's all about culture creation and all about influencing populations and moving them through their Overton windows, if you will, or whatever it is. And it's all about getting that response. And it's not so much as being narcissistic. It's just generating a new type of culture shift.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Culture creation, social engineering is really the big. That sums up the whole thing. Now, I mean, there's different players, different interests at times too. So sometimes, if you take Hollywood, that's a kind of a long history and a lot of different competing influences, a lot of different mafia influences. So most people are familiar with some idea of mobs and their influence in Hollywood at different times, be it Italian, be it Jewish, whatever. So there's all kinds of different organized crime elements that tie into like maybe an A-lister wants access to prostitutes, right? So that back in the Cary Grant era, dysfunction in the form of you needed mob contacts to get good hookers, right? So I mean, it just something that simple, brings together two worlds that should be pretty obvious, but if you think about it, even in the 50s, we were being told by J. Edgar Hoover that there was no such thing as organized crime or a mafia. So they were even covering up the existence of the mob, back then. Mm-hmm. And then when you start to realize that those two worlds are connected, the mob world and Hollywood, and then you stop and you realize and you research a little bit about the history of intelligence agencies and famous people, actors, musicians, and their families having a lot of connections, you start to realize that, oh, well, they're tied into intelligence agencies and the mob as well. So it's kind of like a big, incestuous revolving door where, they're all of these things are very tightly connected. It ties into the corporate world with, CEOs and producers, and, it's all a big meshed world. And I'm not saying it's totally controlled. It's not 100% where every single director or actor is a mind control, MK Ultra test subject or something like that. It doesn't have to be. The main means of control, I think, is through the fiat currency and, basically making people go along with cultural agendas. And if they don't go along with it, something like the transgender agenda, like if you don't go along with that, then, you're going to be blacklisted from not get the role that you want or something like that. That's the main means of control. But there's also other levels, as you said. You can look at the esoteric side of Hollywood, which I think is real. I think there's a penchant for that. We know there's a lot of people in Hollywood that have an interest in Kabbalah and the occult and Satanism and all that kind of stuff. So there's all these angles that you can approach it from and look at, and they're all valid readings of what's going on. But what I try to do is, as best I can, at least, integrate all those different angles and try to give a big picture.
Nice. So let's take it back to your roots. What got you started in this, man? Like, what was it that like was like, oh, this is so fascinating to me that I want to do this? What was it?
When I was in high school, my buddies, we were all kind of the artsy music crowd, the party crowd. I played basketball, but I didn't really fit in with the jocks because I liked to read books, and I was always taking art classes, so I wasn't welcomed amongst the jock dudes. And I liked comedy a lot, so my buddy and I were on the drama team, and we were doing what's called duo interpretive comedy, and you would go and compete in tournaments and stuff like that. So I was always really interested in the arts, and we actually had. I didn't study under her, but most of my friends did. There was a woman who is actually kind of famous. Her name's Ruby Kreider, and she's actually taught a bunch of famous Broadway people theater and acting and drama and stuff like that. And so she actually taught all the people that I was under in high school. And then that was kind of an entryway into the arts. And I always wanted to just do acting and comedy. That was really what I had decided on from an early age. And then when I got to about 18, 19, college era, I started having some doubts about what Hollywood was, and it's not what it's presented as. There's actually some movies that showed me that. It's like some David Lynch movies kind of point that out, that it's like this. It's not about the arts and who's the best artist or who's the best actor. It's about money and corruption and drama and that kind of stuff. At that time, when I was 18, I didn't know about any of the New World Order type stuff. Anyway, so to make a long story short, I just kept with that interest in the arts and in theater and film and all that, and decided for some odd reason to just do philosophy in college. I didn't want to do the arts or theater because I didn't think I would get a job in that. My plan was actually to just be a professor. I wanted to get a PhD in philosophy and just teach philosophy. But after you work a full-time job and do undergrad and grad school at the same time, and then you realize after about 8 years of doing this that the academic institutions are not what they present themselves as either. They're just as much a kind of brainwashing statist outpost, right? That's there to condition people for most of the time for cubicle work. And nowadays for total social justice warrior nonsense, where you're supposed to feel bad if you're a white person or a male or heterosexual. It's totally 100% social engineering nowadays. Most of the state schools. So I just kind of saw through all that, and I was just finally decided that I don't need all this. I don't need the system's approval, to get a job. And we have all of the means, the internet, all this is here at our disposal to do your own thing. So that's kind of what happened. Is I just gave up on the old model of doing things through the university system and decided. I mean, think about this: like if you did become a professor, and you were focused on all the crap that you have to do as a professor, how many people are you going to affect and teach in your life? You're going to maybe reach a few thousand, right? Counting all the students that you'll have, counting maybe the people that'll read the paper, your PhD and journal papers, which is not very many people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So kind of like Jordan Peterson, he switched out of, I think, in some degree, the academic realm because he realized that was the old model. And that's kind of what I saw a few years ago, too, was that there's no point in trying to continue with an old broken model of the university structure, which is, pretty much, I think, going to be not necessary in the future, at least for the arts. I mean, there will always be the technical engineering aspect of the university system, but it's not the world we live in anymore.
Yeah,
we don't use dial-up phones anymore. We don't use dial-up internet. You know what I mean? We have cell phones, so it just all kind of evolved into doing your own thing.
And so now you're at this point.
Yeah.
So I know that you got your TV show, and that's on Gaia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, we finished 17 episodes about a month ago.
Okay, and so it's a post-production, or how does that work, right?
Yeah, post-production is a few months, and I think they're hoping to air it in a month. Oh, really? And that will be on. It is on some cable and satellite. If you have Xfinity, Comcast Xfinity, I think it'll be on there, and it's on all the streaming things like Roku and Amazon Prime and all that.
Okay.
It's called Hollywood Decoded. Yeah.
Yeah, you had to, didn't you? You said something about it was going to be Esoteric Hollywood, but then you have to change it.
Yeah, they didn't want to do that because of the title of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So because the publisher, I guess me and the publisher kind of have the rights to the title of the book, we had to pick something else, and I don't know. We kind of just brainstormed and listed about 10 different options for the title, and that's what everybody else agreed on. Didn't really matter to me. I think it was going to be. I think the content's going to be interesting enough that people are really going to enjoy it. Now, how much exposure it gets, I don't know, but I'm confident in the material. I think it's really going to be interesting, and it's very high production, very high quality. No cheese ball, no garbage, no no Mystery Science Theater B movie. It's pretty slick.
It's Unsolved Mysteries Prime.
It's Roger Ebert meets, what is it like? You know, there's not really another show I can think of like that.
Really?
It is the Siskel Ebert style of me and Jay.
Oh, right. Okay, because you're
going back and forth. We're sitting in director's chairs in a theater set, and we're going back and forth from clips. But I don't think there's any show, you know, that ever I've ever. Have you ever seen, the closest thing I could think of would be, have you ever seen those old William F. Buckley shows? You know, where like William F. Buckley is debating philosophy with Noam Chomsky.
I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen it with there's black and white ones, and I know what you're talking about. Yep.
So I think he's even had like Ron Paul in there before. So it'll be, imagine that meets Siskel and Ebert, and that's what it'll be.
Okay, and so is the counterpart on the show? Is he like? Is there conflict at all? Does it have any, or is it?
That's a good question. I thought there would be more, actually. And yeah, we do at times disagree. So the co-host is Jay Wiedner, and he's known for his Kubrick documentaries, which are pretty famous. And then he's a big part of the documentary Room 237, which is probably the most famous Kubrick documentary. I forget the guy who made that, but Jay's a big chunk of that. And his theory, of course, is that that Kubrick kind of coded in the message of the moon landings being staged.
Yeah.
And so we actually disagree. I mean, I don't disagree that Kubrick might be talking about that, but that's his main thesis about The Shining. My thesis on The Shining is that it's basically just a ghost story, and it's about the demonic possession of the character Jack. So like in that one, we kind of disagree. And so at times there's some conflict, but for the most part, actually, he was, because he's been producing stuff for a long time, so he's very wise when it comes to film. He's kind of encyclopedic about it. So more so, it's often like, you know, he's just throwing out stuff that, you know, I'd never heard of. So it's a great pairing. I think it worked out really well. The chemistry is good.
Okay. And so will you guys do a second season, or is it just kind of a, right now you're feeling it out, see how it goes, and then get ready to do the next material?
The second season will depend on the ratings of the first 17 episodes, but we did have to go ahead and plan. I think we have the next 5 or 6 written in case it does do well. We're already kind of ahead of the game. You know, who knows? I think it's going to do really well. Everybody else does too, at their network and with their market and their audience. I think we will have another season, and if so, it'll actually be more. That they will order 22 episodes. So that would be great. I'm hoping that's the case. I feel confident that it will be. But you know, again, it's all going to depend on how they do in the next I guess 5 months, because I guess they release them probably one a week or something like that.
You got to think.
So we got 17 episodes. That's quite a few.
That's a lot. Dude.
Yeah, and it was a shitload of work writing it too. I wrote 90% of the script for it. So I chose all the clips. It was a lot of work, and but the other thing that's kind of disheartening about that, and because this is the first time I've ever done a TV type show, so it was all a new experience to me. But you like every episode that we did was an hour, and you're sitting there, and sometimes we would film 3 or 4 episodes a day. So you're sitting there for 4 or 5 hours straight talking, going from movie to movie to movie to movie to movie about all this material. And you might spend an hour and a half on one, and it's going to be chopped down to 30. You know what I mean? So there's like all of this extra work that's probably going to get cut. So I have no idea what the finished products will look like, but they put out pretty high quality stuff. So I think it's good. I did see some early clips, and it looks really cool. That's
interesting because your whole idea might not be conveyed per the episode. I mean, that's That would be disheartening whenever you see it and you're like, oh man.
Yeah,
but
cut out my favorite part.
Yeah, you cut out this is my nail in the coffin. And you guys.
Yeah, there was actually some a little bit of friction over certain movies that I chose and scenes that I chose, and I wasn't really up to par on the content, like what's okay content and what's not. So, like, there's a scene we did Chinatown, which is one of the most famous movies of all time, but it's controversial because it's Roman Polanski movie, and of course Roman Polanski was involved in the pedophilia case a long time ago that connects to the Manson murders and all that. And in the scene, there's a scene in the film, the climax of the film, where Jack Nicholson slaps Faye Dunaway, and I didn't think about it, but that's actually not okay content for the Gaia audience. So that whole episode, which was a Roman Polanski episode, climaxed with the subject of Chinatown, and you can't show the clip of the climax of Chinatown. So what we had to do was like reshoot it, like with a disclaimer and just talking about it. So seriously, it's that kind of stuff that you don't expect. Like I never thought about anything like that until you actually go through the process.
It's that politically whatever, or like I don't even know what to call that. It's that sensitive. They're that sensitive. Yeah,
and that's partly because it's not so much necessarily maybe the audience, but you have, first of all, you have to do all these. You have all these legal stuff, like all of the clips that you choose that has to be passed by lawyers, and what you're going to say has to be cleared. So that's a whole layer of legalities involved. And then Gaia as a company has their own standards of what they consider, appropriate or not appropriate. Right. So when we chose, and I didn't really know that when I was writing these episodes. So when I was doing the X-Files episode, I didn't really want to do a lot of alien stuff. I was kind of focusing on a lot of the more interesting, in my view, aspects of X-Files, which is like MK Ultra and the episodes where they investigate ritual cult murders. So I chose a lot of that, but then one of those whole scenes that I chose had to be cut because it was the rather humorous episode, which I thought was very illustrative. Our Town from season 3, I think, but it's a great episode because they're investigating a corrupt Kentucky Fried Chicken-esque company that's actually feeding people.
Oh, I remember that episode.
Yeah. So, and it's giving them Alzheimer's and Kuru disease. People are going crazy because you can't eat human beings.
Like
it's going to drive you crazy.
It's like mad cow disease for humans.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and I was actually using that as a jumping off point to talk about GMOs and, how the food can be tainted and, it actually can drive us crazy with all the chemicals and stuff like that. But that was the cannibalism aspect of that episode was too risque. So anyway, long story short, it's just you don't think about that kind of stuff until you go through the process, and then you have to deal with a lot of other people, you know what I mean, and their rules and their stipulations.
So the audience that you get that you're reaching out to will be kind of like a lot of the, if you will, it's going to be fringe audiences, right? I mean, like
actually,
I don't mean that in a negative way.
You might think that, but because Gaia has a lot of yoga and stuff like that, but believe it or not, they have a fairly diverse market because it is on the cable and Xfinity and Apple TV and Amazon Prime, so it's not all a fringe New Age audience.
No, I wouldn't say fringe New Age. I would say that's part of it, but I was also thinking like you're going to get the people because of the nature of the show, you're going to get the people that are crazy about like there was that show on History called Decoded. There was you're going to like even the ancient aliens type of stuff. You're going to still get that because I think that kind of you get a whole bunch of people like me. I mean, I don't know. And there's a lot of people like me that like that. I mean, because I'm interested in it. I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated by all aspects of it, because it's just, it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean even the stuff that's like absolutely ridiculous, right? It still challenges your mind, right? You want to think about it and you're like, oh, okay, well, hey, maybe this is something, to think about. I don't know.
Yeah. No, every now and then what I'll do, maybe once every 6 months or every year, I will actually go back and reinvestigate topics that I've considered myself kind of certain of. So I don't believe in aliens, but I will listen to the case for aliens that people make sometimes.
Right.
I'm still not convinced, but I'm never like beyond hearing the case or hearing evidence or anything like that. So I agree, and I think you're right that the market is the subject matter of our show covers enough stuff that I think it will have a wide appeal. And who knows? It could lead to other things too. So if I recall, like the first episode we did was Ridley Scott movies. So we did the Alien series, and we did Blade Runner.
Okay.
Which that'll be a good one, because Blade Runner's having a sequel come out pretty soon. So if our pilot episode can be up before Blade Runner comes out, that'll be pretty good. But then we did like James Cameron films.
Okay.
We had to actually add one in, like Avatar. They wanted to add something with a positive message, which I'm not a big fan of Avatar, but we had to kind of on the spot come up with an Avatar analysis because they felt there were too many episodes that were focused on cults and esoteric stuff. But anyway, so we got a Kubrick episode, we got an Eyes Wide Shut episode, we got 2001 episode, we got David Lynch, Twin Peaks, so there may be 2 episodes of that if I recall. We got a Christopher Nolan episode, which will be really cool, with Inception and Dark Knight. We might have 2 episodes that I can't remember, but the Roman Polanski episode. So it's going to be good. I mean, it's really, it's the classics, but also new stuff and sci-fi stuff and, all kinds of shit. It's more than the stuff that's in my book. If you guys happen to see the content of the book.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it's gonna force you, if this gets picked up and it continues to pick up, it's gonna force you to just have to go into like maximum overdrive to start looking at even more films and even more, and even dig even deeper and everything, because if you're going to say 22 episodes, you're going to be like, God, I got to come up with more and more and more. You get 3, 4, 5 seasons down,
Yeah.
You'll have to.
Oh, we could easily do it though. I'm confident that, like, we haven't even touched any Marvel movies and the themes in Marvel movies. We haven't touched any of the classics like Hitchcock. We haven't done any Orson Welles. So there's all kinds of deep hidden meanings in all those movies. I don't think there's any shortage of content, but you're right that it would be a lot more work. You're right about that.
That's good though.
Good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. Keep you busy.
Yeah.
Idle hands spinning.
What about you guys? What have you guys been up to?
Oh, us. Nothing.
Sandbagging. We didn't do a podcast last week.
Yeah, we took the week off.
But just
well, you guys are family dudes, so you've got
kids.
Continuing to pump out mediocre podcasts. I don't know how alarming rate.
We definitely push out mediocre podcasts at an alarming rate.
Have you had some good guests lately?
Yeah, we had some good ones. A lot of our better guests are like fringe lunatic survivalists, or whatever you want to call them. I say that in a loving way.
Yeah, don't.
I associate with them pretty closely, but
is your mic on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Is it not?
Can you hear him, Jay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike's probably just got my sound turned down.
Yeah.
No, but we have a lot of blog guys like survivalists and like gun guys and stuff like that, and
radio guys.
Yeah, radio guys, but we haven't
What do
had
you mean, radio guys?
ham radio,
Yeah.
Nerd Patrol.
Huh.
But yeah, those get a lot of listens.
Candy cane.
That's a CB, man. That's for
Yeah, don't. You're
trucker
messing
shit.
up, Jay. You're already messing up, dude. Don't do that. That's what I do. That's my role.
Do you mean like Patriot Radio, like bunker buster dudes that are?
No, I mean the guys that we've had on that talk radio were just. I mean, they're not.
Yeah, they're not over the top. Not
over the
like,
top, yeah.
hey man, we got it. No, they're pretty smart. I mean,
Yeah, and mostly what they talk about is not relying on any sort of system that's not provided by you for like sure use your cell phone, but have a way if you need to talk to your friends or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And,
Yeah, the history of ham radio is pretty closely tied to NSA because of signals intelligence. So,
Yeah.
you guys probably know about all that, but it's a fascinating topic, like number stations and all that kind of stuff.
holy shit! Here
yeah,
we go.
I love number stations.
Oh no.
Like I told Mike, I've recorded live number stations. The
Oh, yeah?
Cuban one before. The only one
Yeah.
I've heard in real life is the Cuban one, but I don't know. That just freaks me out because of it's happening in real time, and you don't think that espionage and clandestine stuff is happening. I mean, you do, but you don't, right? It's not real.
Yeah.
But
Right.
when you hear something like that, like I show my wife one night, it's like, listen to this, and she's like, you don't know what they're saying. I'm like, well, I know, but it's awesome
It's
because
definitely the recipe to
it's-
chocolate chip
yeah,
cookies.
it's someone communicating with someone in the field, giving them
Mhm.
directions on what to do, on how to either get information back to Cuba or information from Cuba to a person in the field. And I was like, that's real time. Like, why don't they just use a cell phone? Well, because, it can be intercepted or whatever. But
It's already being intercepted. 100%.
yeah.
Did you see that? It's not that great of a movie, but did you see the John Cusack number
Yeah.
station movie?
Yeah.
Oh, it's on Netflix, right? I haven't seen it yet. 'Cause
John Cusack, his time is up.
Man, John Cusack. Okay, check it out. John Cusack
He's got
and Nicolas Cage have taken over
Netflix.
Yeah, right. That's funny.
They've made a. I don't know what's happening.
There was a movie I was looking through Netflix for my kids, and I was like, God, who is that, man? And I can't remember what the movie was, but it was Nicolas Cage dressed up as like a naval commander or something. I'm like, what the fuck? I've never
Has
heard
his
of
head gotten bigger? Like,
No,
I mean,
it's just him and John Cusack are trying so hard to keep hair in their head.
that's
Looks like a
what it
fucking
is.
Barbie doll. Like,
That's what it is. I don't know.
John Cusack has this weird thing where he's always playing a hitman. That's one of his favorite roles, is to play a
Like the
hitman.
gross point
yeah,
blank.
but he's not
and,
a hitman.
No.
You know?
Yeah, he doesn't at all seem that kind of a dude. It's very strange.
No, he should be like, hey, I'm going to redo Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Oh, okay, I could see you doing that. Or,
He
the
did.
Joker.
He was good in that hot tub time machine. Like that's his role.
I hated that
That's
movie.
his role.
I hated that movie. I like the boobs in it. I
How
hated
do you-
the movie.
You did. I thought it was all right.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Just got over the top cussing for no reason. And
Well, but
I'm
that's TV today.
I'm a big time cusser, but it bothers me when people try to cuss. Like it's too
When
hard. Like quit trying so hard.
When it's out of the ordinary.
like
Fuck,
Hey,
shit,
man,
fuck.
look.
Man, fuck.
you want to eat fucking ramen noodles for lunch? Unnecessary, buddy. Not used correctly.
Yeah, well,
It's not 80s action videos were the best cussing movies there were. Commando. You scared, motherfucker? You should be.
We were just
Because
talking about Commando because of the ridiculous body count.
Commando's amazing, the body count in that.
But when I was a kid, I thought all those kills were legit. Like you get shot with a knife, dead immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You get a skill saw blade
Thrown at your
head's
head,
getting chopped
off.
I remember being like third grade,
Uh-huh.
something like that, and I was at the babysitter's after school. They had like a 2 or 3 hour wait for my mom to pick me up, and I remember sitting alone in a room because I don't know where the other kids were. I don't know, but I was at this babysitter, and they had one VHS and one box of Lincoln Logs. That was the only toys they had.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember building a log cabin and watching Commando over and over.
That's some shit right there.
That was the VHS. The VHS they had was Commando.
You know, it's funny. It's crazy how whenever you're a little kid and you think back to times like that and you're like, what the fuck was I doing there? Like, somebody put me in a room to watch Commando and
With
build
Lincoln.
shit with Lincoln logs, and that was my life.
You
know what I mean? Like, that's some crazy shit. You
some kind of MK Ultra program or something. I'm gonna go somewhere and I'll see a log cabin and it'll trigger me, and I'll I'll try to assassinate some dude that has a beard like Abraham Lincoln or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's weird stuff. It's weird how too things in your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that you just remember that you're like, why the hell is that so important in my mind?
Why
that
did
I
it
can
stick?
remember every detail of that time. You know.
Here's something that you guys should check out because we have talked about these different fringe topics. So the idea of the MPD, DID, dissociative identity disorder, is very controversial and people debate it and stuff like that. So I bought a bunch of books this week from some of the top MDs and physicians that deal with the subject.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and I watched all the YouTube documentaries I could find on it. So I'll send you guys a link to this one, but you should check it out because there is one really crazy documentary that HBO did like back in 1990 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Old school documentary, and it details the lives of three people, and the psychiatric, people that they're working with, and Colin Ross, who has a whole bunch of interviews and talks on this subject, who's the author of a bunch of the books that I bought. He is a consultant on this documentary. And what's interesting is that in every one of these cases, the people had some kind of like ritual abuse when they were a kid. And so this is dealing with, with people that actually have, the DID,
Mm-hmm.
The rarely diagnosed, DID, which is pretty extreme phenomenon. So I think it's real. We don't think you guys and I have ever talked about it. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think that's real. Where you're talking about how they become a different person, right?
Yeah, the period when they were traumatized, or later traumas too,
Mm-hmm.
that the brain has the self-defense mechanism of creating a dissociative state to where the person feels like it was happening to someone else.
Yeah.
So if they were, a lot of times in the cases that I was reading and in those documentaries, it's somebody who was abused and molested maybe when they were 5 by a parent or some authority figure, and so what happens oftentimes is that they dissociate from that age period, and there are triggers or things in their life that might cause them to revert to that 5-year-old state, even when they're in their 30s or 40s.
Right.
So it's very difficult, in my view, to think that all of these people are acting and making it up.
Mm-hmm.
No. So, and most of those documentaries are pretty fascinating because, I think that there's a lot that we don't know about the psyche, the mind, the soul. And I think a lot of times the establishment tries to give give the impression that they have it all figured out. So they kind of play a confidence game.
Yeah,
but you'll notice in these documentaries and the interviews, a lot of times they're like, we don't really know what this is. We don't have a clue, but we think it's this. And so it's something that's being studied. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not. And for a long time, they were discounting it, and they were saying, oh, it's just an American phenomenon, and so therefore can't be real. It would be happening everywhere. But not everywhere has the psychiatric infrastructure that the U.S. has to call it those names. So I'm not saying that everything about the American medical system is good per se, but I'm saying that, you can have the same phenomenon in other cultures. They might be calling it spirit possession or something, like, who knows, right?
Right. No, I think it's 100% real. I mean, I think that that your mind can splinter, or whatever it is you want to call it, whatever that this is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I.
Well, let me ask you guys this: as former military dudes, a lot of the authors and doctors and psychiatrists and so that write on this topic, they will speak about the studies that were done by Tavistock Institute on shell shock and PTSD.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Do you have any
I don't
insight
have any
or analysis of that,
or any insight on that. I mean, to be honest, but
yeah, like shell shock or whatever. That's from the World War II or something.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but like flashbacks, that was all about Vietnam, right?
Oh, yeah, right. That's
my
that's
dad,
a good intuition.
My dad was in Vietnam, and he actually fought in combat. And then I always heard stories about people's uncles or so and so that they knew that would couldn't go deer hunting anymore because they didn't see a gun. They'd have a flashback and be crawling around on the ground, pointing guns at them and stuff. And I asked my dad about it. I'm like, well, what's the deal? Do you ever have this? And, this was like a kid before I had that kind of filter. And he's like, I don't have that. I've never known anybody that's had that or anything like that. So I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I don't have any personal, like insight into any, like PTSD or anything like that. But I don't know. I mean, I think that it's kind of like you said a second ago. I feel like everyone thinks they have everything figured out. Like, oh, we know everything there is to know about the brain or the human body or about the world or existence in general. Like, oh, we got it all figured out right now. This is the most, education or whatever you want to call it. And it's funny, I was thinking about that on the way over here, is, you could talk to people that won't believe in like any kind of God or anything like that. Like, oh, this is, science has explained existence. This is what happened. That's it. And I want to, ask those people, I don't know how I got to this point, but I want to ask those people, like, so go back 200 years, you go up to the smartest person in the world and they say, hey, people are getting sick because so-and-so down the street's casting spells on them. What makes you any different than that person? Yeah. 200 years from now, people are going to go back and say, they were saying this, right?
Yeah.
But, so
sons of bitches casting spells.
So when people sit there and try to say like, oh, we got the mind figured out, this is the reason behind that. I don't think we know anything. I say that we know some, but there could be shit. I think there's a lot more to the mind that we don't even have a clue about. And then to know that people can revert back to a younger age based off like stress,
trauma,
So when you that just kind of like makes me believe more of like all these programs where the government, programs people, kids, like the Hollywood stories about people being molested and stuff to be like brought into this. It makes it more believable. But
that's what Colin Ross writes about. He actually writes about that very, very topic, and he does tend to vindicate the thesis that it does happen to, kids, and it is a kind of programming and this kind of stuff. So absolutely, if I recall, shell shock is World War I was when they first started noticing it. And then not too long after World War I was the creation of Tavistock in the UK. And that was created with Rockefeller money. And they set that up over there to study not just shell shock, but also all these other kinds of social engineering techniques. And then that eventually became kind of the UK counterpart to MK Ultra. So actually MK Ultra program in the US, which was dozens of universities, all of the psychiatric institutions for the most part, the big ones, many of which were actually CIA fronts eventually over time. The American Psychological Association, Ewan Cameron, he was the head of it for a period. He was one of the key MK Ultra doctors. So it was all being run in tandem, with Tavistock Institute and all that. So I think, it's a lot. There's a lot more to it. It's a lot broader of a project than people tend to think. It wasn't just a military research into truth drugs or hypnotic couriers. that was just like a tiny aspect of what
Yeah.
it was. The majority of it was social engineering.
Makes sense.
The military is all about social engineering. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the giant petri dish where everything takes place, right? It's to start, because you're voluntarily putting yourself in there, and to your point about flashbacks, right? Like the people that in Vietnam, I mean, you think about they were drafted, right? So that means they involuntarily went into the military, into that position. So if you're voluntarily entering yourself into that, your mind already is like, I'm prepared for whatever, I have to do, right? But being involuntarily put into that position, and you're like, fuck, you're already like programming yourself to not be ready for what's about to happen, and then it becomes ultra traumatic, and then you're like, I mean, I could see that happening to those people that have, because their mind is at a weaker state, right? Like whenever we went in, we were like, well, this whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. Even though you don't really know at age 17 or 18, you're like, well, I'm just gonna do whatever's got to be done. You know what I mean? And then the people that don't want to go and they're pushed into it, I could see. I mean, I didn't know anybody that had that or whatever, but I could see. And then I could see some people playing it off, right? I mean, that's part of it, but I don't know.
Have you guys heard about like the Phoenix program and all that?
From MacGyver. I'm fucking with you, MacGyver. That was the name of the foundation.
Is it in MacGyver? Okay.
In MacGyver.
What's the Phoenix
I don't
program?
remember.
It was Phoenix Foundation in MacGyver, but what's Phoenix program?
Harry Dean Anderson's mullet
The dude from Night
a
Court?
phoenix. Resembles a phoenix. I thought, what's the
Richard Dean Anderson.
What's Rich? Okay, thank you.
I think Harry Dean
That's
Anderson
Night
is the
Court.
guy
You're
from
right.
Night Court.
You
got it.
What were we talking about? Oh, Phoenix program. Yeah, that's pretty crazy stuff. You would be interested in that book. Where is it? Somewhere here. Douglas Valentine has a book, Phoenix program, and it's about the CIA's project, which, by the way, is roughly connected to MK Ultra, of how to terrorize the Viet Cong.
Oh no, I do remember. I was reading something about this on the internet. Actually.
Yeah, that's a real program, and he actually spoke to William Colby, who was head of CIA at the time, who created the project. And William Colby contacted Douglas Valentine, according to Valentine's account, because he, had kind of pieced this together by interviewing Vietnam vets. And so the book, I mean, it all sounds pretty legit to me, but obviously there's the drug angle to Golden Crescent and all that stuff with Vietnam and all that, but Golden Triangle, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a specific new approach to terrorizing Viet Cong, and it involved kind of the creation or the profiling and finding dudes that were psychopathic.
Mm-hmm.
So when you watch movies like Apocalypse Now, the Marlon Brando character is pretty much kind of the archetype. I mean, I'm not saying it was that necessarily extreme. I don't know. Who knows how real it is, but the carnage, but the idea of other researchers is that might play into the serial killer phenomenon, that maybe some of these dudes, who had experienced all that were brought back, because of the timing of the rise of the serial killer is kind of concurrent with all that. Dave McGowan has a really cool book on that, but I don't know, it's pretty crazy stuff. But
what was that book called?
Phoenix program.
Douglas Valentine's Phoenix program book, and then Program to Kill by Dave McGowan. Those two kind of work together. The theories of both of those books.
Excellent. Jay, it's been great having you on. Touching base with you again. Next time we have you on, we need to have a drunk Skype episode.
Full of
impersonations, all done by you, and then poor ones done by us.
Yeah,
how do you
try to replay them back to you?
Uh-huh.
Well, I can do that. I don't drink anymore, but I can do that for sure.
Really? Fantastic. I don't think Nick does either.
Drink?
Yeah.
I drink from time to time, but I only drink to get drunk. So. Good to have a plan.
I don't. I drink wine occasionally now, but yeah.
I miss a cold beer. I really do. But
well,
I don't know. My what do you call it?
Your guru told you.
My
not
gut.
to.
My gut doesn't
Oh, all right.
process it very well. It really causes me a lot of pain. Which, in my 20s, I could drink whatever I wanted, but I don't know. I just started noticing that I was having a lot of like kidney and gut pain every time I drink, so I just kind of gave it up.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny because my uncle was telling me about that. He said that there's actually a phenomenon going on around right now where there's a lot of people realizing that that alcohol is causing them to have causing pain in their gut, and people are starting to stop. Look at that! They're opting for a healthy life, gut pain free. Gut free, whatever you want to say.
No more toots. I don't fart anymore. No more toots.
You got to just power through it.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Fuck this stomach.
Yeah, give me another steak and some whiskey.
I'll show you.
Jay, it's been great, man.
Yeah, good.
Thanks for
to you.
and we touched base with or we touched that sounds homo.
That's project management talk 101.
This is second base.
Yeah. We didn't get the second base.
Circle back, touch base,
reach around.
Yeah, give you a reach around.
All right, man. It's been great.
And we'll talk.
Thank you guys.
Have you?
Yeah, always fun.
I'll send you the link.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Take it easy,
All
man.
right, bye.
Bye. Whoops. I got to get that off of there. Look at that. Whoop. Oh. There we go.
Jay from Jay's Analysis. Check him out.
Man, he's always fun, right?
Good time. Dude, I remember when I had gut problems in November? I still remember that. Talking about stuff etched into your mind. My wife was making fun of me the other day about it.
Did your mind splinter?
Dude, I had like almost 2 weeks of...
The shits?
No, I never had the shits. But every night at 5 o'clock, my stomach would start killing me. And it would happen. It would last until about 9 or 10 and then start going away. And like the last night that I was finally...
Was it your gallbladder?
No, it was some... Because my daughter had it too. She finally caught it.
Oh.
She's like, my stomach hurts so bad. Like, I don't know what
Oh,
to do.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I had it. Everybody had it.
So I but never threw up, never had the shits, never had gas.
But it hurt. It felt like
Fuck.
somebody was taking
Yeah.
a knife and driving it into your stomach.
That last night, I was like, if this is not gone tomorrow, and I had a shitload of ghost peppers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go out there. I'm going to eat like 6 of those things and then drink like half a bottle of tequila. I'll show that fucking stomach who's boss, you know. I told my dad I was going to do that. He's like, you're going to kill yourself.
That's what he said?
Burn a hole in your stomach. At least the fucking thing will quit hurting.
What am I doing? I'm showing everybody.
Showing off phone numbers.
No, there's no phone numbers, are there?
Mm.
I don't even know how to
Just
get over
close
there.
it. Close the motherfucker.
All right. Okay. All right.
We got a shitload of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
But
Let's get there.
We are going through everything.
Nah, we'll just make it through.
Dude, your
what we
Chilrens
got.
Dreams cracks me up though because
Hold on, let's play a commercial.
all right.
This one is from.
Look at this.
our
Wait,
new
wait,
one.
wait.
Okay.
I haven't clicked on stomach issues. I haven't clicked on why does Jay's Analysis stomach hurt after you drink a beer. But over here, I've got an ad that's automatically playing. Renew Life Digest Smart. High potency helps reduce gas, occasional bloating, and indigestion.
It's that they fine tuned it that much that they've got it down.
Nothing. I mean, I've searched nothing to look about stomach discomfort, and it's on the computer.
It's
All right,
that fine tuned.
Play commercial.
Okay.
I've got to get new stickers made, man.
Chilrens.
All right. I'm going to do Chilrens.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool.
So Mike writes down here, bike pedals tearing your shins apart. And that made me laugh because, dude, my bike pedals when I was a kid were made out of a cheese grater. They were metal. They were metal pedals, and then the edges had these sharp metal.
Well, they were kind of like.
It was like an Allen wrench on the top. It was a hook like this, and then the center was cut sharp.
So to keep traction on your tennis shoes. Dude, actually, it was to tear the shit out of your shins.
I would ride bikes barefoot. Oh, it seems horrible, right? Here's the worst thing that could happen. You're pedaling. I know I'm going with this. You're pedaling, and your foot slides off in front of the pedal. The bike still moves. Your foot goes down like this. And the pedal at that time comes back around and then goes up your shin, and your toenails get raked down the pavement. But dude, those old bike pedals were. Kids today don't know what it's like. Me hurt. They're like my daughter's bike. I mean, you could.
It's nice.
Yeah, you could clean your ass crack.
It's nice.
Smooth. You know.
They figured it out. They were like, wait, they don't need traction on there.
Dude, I mean, I'm serious.
I don't know though. Kids today don't really get with it like we did. You know what I mean?
I don't ride bikes anywhere. I don't ever see kids riding bikes. Dude. I did one day, and I almost like started crying. It's like like one of those scenes of an old western where Indian sees like a herd of bison running across the prairie. I like saw those kids riding that bike and seriously stopped what I was doing. Like, man, go run free, kids.
Run free, pedal free.
Go get a cold drink and try to ride your bike and spill that shit and run those handlebars right into your stomach. Put your nads right on that head thing, whatever that thing is where your handlebars bolt to. What do they call it? Head spacing?
No, the
head post.
Oh,
dude, that thing had a
gooseneck.
Whatever it was, had a heat seeker to my nuts.
That I mean, any of that. I mean, that was always.
I can't believe I rode a bike.
I can't believe I still have nuts.
I can't believe I still have nuts, and I can't believe I ever got on a bike with the amount of crashes and stuff.
You know, you think about that. You know what? This goes to show you that bikes were figured into the equation way back when we were created, because our nuts, they do this. Like if it was just one nut, and it would hit that.
Maybe it used to be. Evolved into it was like
so they could wrap around.
Been broken so many times. Just gonna make them into two
nuts.
Dude, I remember riding the bike, and now you ever ask your kid something and you're like, "Why'd you do that?" And they look at you like, "I have no idea." I was riding my bike fast as shit on dirt, and gravel, and stuck my foot in the front tire. Tried to stop. Here's my idea in my head. I can still remember it. Probably it's a little traumatic.
I was doing endo.
I was gonna do an endo, right? Well, I fucking jammed my foot in there where I couldn't pull it back out. So I just did an endo with my foot stuck in the bike and then landed on my face with the bike stuck to my.
Did you stick it on the front tire? Yeah. So then it went in between the forks?
Here's the tire. Here's the forks. I stuck it right here because you could.
So it's like it's big brake pad.
Yeah, you can gauge. You could use the structure of the fork to.
Not good, man.
But it jammed it in there.
Yeah.
So the tire just locked up, and I.
With your foot in there.
All the way over. I remember my mom and my aunt were watching me, and I had dirt all in my lip like a dip, like I had to pull it out. So my mouth was open when I landed, obviously.
Did you shake it off?
Oh, sure, I got back on it, but probably not for a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, how
determined you are
how determined you are when you're a little kid. You fuck yourself up and then you get back on there. Like my daughter, she's not. I mean, I said that, but then at the beginning of the episode, I said, she was.
Yeah.
I mean, falling hard, roller skating, and getting right back up.
I'm trying not to get frustrated with my daughter with swimming because she keeps getting scared of stuff, and I'm like,
it's just a thing, man. She'll get past it.
Water, I guess, is I don't know. I gotta.
She's smart.
I gotta be. I guess, more. I don't want to be too accepting because the fucking world's not accepting.
You don't have
know
to
what I
be.
mean?
It's not like that though.
But when she starts bawling because
you
you
just
know
say,
he
"Look,
went underwater or whatever," like, all right, let's relax. It's over. It's done. You know.
look, man, it's not like this. It's not like you guys are fucking sailors where she has to know how to swim right now. Like it's just.
Well, she can swim now. She got past that. She's swimming across the pool, no floaty, nothing like that. But she went underwater tonight, all the way underwater, and for whatever reason does not want to. And she's kept saying, I mean, it was just bawling, saying, I don't want to go underwater. Like, fine. And in my head, I'm like, don't fucking go underwater then. You know, like you didn't mean to. It's over. It's done. Forget about it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
relax.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things.
But it makes me think, was I like that when I fucking, you know, dipped dirt with my bike?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that my parents have to talk me back into getting out there and getting on a bike? Or did I do it myself? Because to my head, I'm like, fuck, I got back out there like a man.
Well, I mean, I know for sure that nothing was keeping me from riding my bike. It didn't matter if I fucking crashed into a car. I was still doing it like the next day. But then again, I wasn't 4 or 5. Yeah. So I can't remember back that far, right? Like, so you get a little bit older and you're like, you know, you get that, like, you got big nuts. So you're ready to just do whatever, right? Like, I don't know. We'll see. Yes, though, bike pedals tearing my shins apart.
Not good for flip-flops or barefoot.
All right, I wanted to. This is an ode to our Australian listeners and our world listeners. We do a around the world segment, right? Oh, I have music. You like that music?
Enjoyable.
It's nice.
That reminds me, I was looking at 25 pictures from the 60s today.
Bush?
No, it was just women dressed classy, and then it showed.
I like their big hairdos,
It said 30 pictures that showed a decline of women in the days. Oh, I was just going to leave it. I don't need to look at it.
Well, it's there now.
Thanks. So decline of American women in 30 pictures, and back in the 60s and 70s had these women, they're all dressed in dresses and nice and everything, and then it shows today, and it's just pure shit. But
wool dresses. They all wore wool or polyester or whatever.
Wool in their pants too.
Yeah. So our first article comes from the Cairns Times. This is I guess Cairns is in Australia. It says Cairns man.
So you sent this to me. I was like, dude, this is fake. It's not fake.
It's not fake.
No.
It's not fake. Cairns man who binged on ice feared dead after attempting to have sex with crocodile. This is on June 21st, 2017, right? Last updated, which is today. Ice, if people don't know what ice is, that's a methamphetamine, right? So it says authorities hold little hopes of finding a 26-year-old local man alive after he was attacked by a wild saltwater crocodile at Clifton Beach in North Cairns. You know how big a saltwater crocodile can get?
17 meters?
No, that's fucking enormous.
21 feet?
22 feet. Yep,
Yeah.
22 feet. You know how much they can weigh?
10,000 pounds.
You have no concept. 3,000 pounds.
I didn't know they were 22 feet long.
That's
or 21.
gigantic. That's like
there's
a fucking
crocodile
dinosaur.
in Florida. We were going to do a kayaking thing, and they're like, hey, there's a crocodile out here.
Just one crocodile?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are. Like, you know, because people get crocodiles and they let them go.
Yeah, they get
And
in
then
the sewers.
And then they get
It's
in
like
the
in that
sewers
movie.
and they
You gotta
eat people.
Blow them up with dynamite.
Yeah. Well, it says the identity of the man is yet to be released until his next of kin can be formally notified. But his friends who witnessed the incident say the man had been impaired after smoking a large quantity of illicit drug ice.
The best part of this article are the interviews with his friends, with his mates.
Well, you can do those parts, all right?
Oh, I didn't open it.
Or do you? Okay, well,
Hold on.
I can't do the. I can't do. It gets completely out of control when he's on the gear.
See, gear's code word for steroids. Like,
Well, but I think anybody can say now, like in Australia, it's gear is ice or whatever. Said one of his friends who spoke to the Cairns Times. We kept telling him, that's bad, him to cut back a bit because we were a bit worried, to be honest. but we never expect anything like this. Wait, you're not open this. You got to read it. Okay.
I'm trying to find it.
The friend told of how the 26-year-old began acting strangely after smoking large amount of the drug. You got it? We tried to get him calm. See, I can't do this. Let me see. Hey, kangaroo. No.
I can't do it.
Hey. It's. Hey. We tried to get him calm down a bit, but he's running all over the beach.
Rise up lights.
Rise up light. There we go. We tried to get him calmed down, but he was running all over the beach, acting like an idiot. I can't do this.
Lights.
However, the man's friend saw no cause for concern. In the past, he's just run out of energy and slept it off. He's always been fine the next day.
Rise up lights.
However, on this occasion, the man would make a fateful decision while his judgment was impaired by the drug. He was a few hundred meters down the beach when he started pulling his clothes off, said the friend. We thought he just wanted a streak or something, but then up ahead, we were shocked to see a croc. The group of friends shouted at the man to leave the crocodile alone, which was estimated to be about 2 meters. So that's a 6-foot croc. We were worried he was so off his face on ice he'd tried to provoke it, but nothing would prepare us for what he did next. According to the friend, the man, now naked, left at the crocodile.
Quality line right here.
Left at the crocodile and started to try to have intercourse with it. We were still
a fair distance back, but I reckon he just about got it in. Of course, the croc wasn't having it, having a bar of it, and it started thrashing around like crazy.
The man's friends were powerless to help as the crocodile clenched its jaws across the man's torso and hauled him into the water. A 6-foot croc I don't think a 6-foot croc could take me down. I mean, I guess if I'm trying to fuck it, it probably no.
Depends on how adamant it was about getting.
It wasn't receptive to have any of that.
We're gonna have a bar of this.
It says, let's see, hauled him into the water, and there's your line.
What is it?
There was something thrashing around under the water for a few seconds before nothing. I mean, it was just still.
This is a horrible story, right? Like, yeah, I got killed by a crocodile. His fucking friends are talking about he actually got it just. He's still a full distance back, but I reckon he just about got it in. Of course, the croc wasn't having a bar of it. Started thrashing around like crazy.
Okay, dude, so
if that was my headstone, I'd say got it in.
Yeah, you'd have to have that. So it says the man's unusual behavior is being blamed on the overuse of the drug ice, which experts say can have an increase in the user's sex drive. See, that solves the Viagra problem.
Just give people ice.
Just give them ice. Be fucking whatever. Trees. Let's see. In this case, the man's body under the influence of the drug, my conclusion is became delusional and thought attempting sex with a crocodile was a perfectly sane act. Yeah.
Before we get off the subject of sex, this isn't around the world, but
okay.
This on Fox News. This is a married middle school teacher, 27, arrested for sex romps with her underage boy student. So this chick, Lindsay Jarvis, 27, is a very attractive woman.
I'm looking. Hold on.
It's fried. A married Kentucky teacher has been accused of sexually assaulting an underage student while working as a teacher at 2 different schools. Lindsay Jarvis, 27, pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of rape on Monday. She was also charged with rape, sodomy, and unlawful transaction with a minor in Woodward County. Okay, so she's accused of having a sexual relationship with a student under the age of 16 while she was a teacher. Here's what I don't get, though.
Which one is this? Where is it at?
It says another one.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Oh, shit. This thing keeps fucking locking up. There it goes.
What's her name?
Lindsay Jarvis. Jarvis. Security alert.
Good Lord.
You see her?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple things.
With middle school boys?
Yes, under the age of 16. So here's some things I've thought. Like, you hear about this a lot now, right? Like these teachers, these women teachers having sex with
She
boys,
looks
right?
crazy, though. She got
she's
crazy eyes.
She's insane. You can tell she's insane.
It's the eyes and that smile.
And that booking picture?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's
okay, but listen to this.
She's hot, though.
Yeah.
For being crazy.
Accused of having a sexual relationship with a student under the age of 16 while she was a teacher. She allegedly sodomized the student in May of 2016 and had sexual intercourse with him a month later. Well, I was a little confused about that because she's a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a woman sodomizes a man. That means, yeah, that's what I had to look it up. So, and the only thing I could think of is she put on fucking Big Artie, strapped him on, and went to town on some kid.
That poor kid.
I know.
And he was just willing because
Yeah.
he's like, I'm banging the
For
teacher.
for the story,
But I'm not. The teacher's banging me.
for the story alone.
Uh-huh.
So, but the thing I get, right?
That poor
You didn't
kid,
hear-
man. He's
you-
from that point forward. He's
Yeah.
probably gonna be like, I just can't wait to get Big Artie back. It ruined.
What
Fucking
gets
kid's
me though
ruined.
is you never heard about this when I was a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never once heard about a teacher and a kid having sex.
No, this is just like
Okay.
shark bites in Florida and all
Okay,
that
but-
shit, right?
All right. Never once.
Uh-huh.
So now you hear about it a lot. Everyone's like, why are these attractive women having sex with these students? Well, there's two things. Is I don't remember having the amount of pretty teachers back then was
Slim to none.
proportionate to now. Like, I don't get it. There's a lot of good-looking teachers, right?
Yep.
Like, all my teachers were old and had bad breath.
But
mothball breath.
Hold on, though. Now let's go back. Roll yourself back to elementary school. That's where the hot teachers were.
Mrs. Lanning. I've
Right.
never
So
heard
the hot teachers were in elementary school. It's because they knew you'd be trying to fuck them in high school. So they had to keep them in elementary school and then keep the old ones in high school.
Here's the thing, though. That shit was happening back then.
But
little numbnuts didn't have a cell phone to bust the teacher with.
That's true.
Now everyone gets busted because they're texting about it.
Mm-hmm.
So think of all, like I can think of like the hot teachers that I had. Like an art teacher in the 7th grade.
My
was
art
hot.
teacher wasn't hot by standards of me today.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was in high school, I thought
It's kind of like the, I don't know.
I
So
thought she
if
was
you-
very attractive.
If you ever get separated from mainstream women, Kayla and I were talking about this. No matter
Okay.
where you go, like the best looking girl out of that group of people is immediately the hot one.
Right.
Even if they're not, right? So like your high school art teacher or whatever, so it's the same thing. Like I'm stuck in this class. Like, oh yeah, this art teacher.
It's opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That makes
like,
sense.
that art teacher had a science teacher. There was a math teacher in high school. If you think about it, and if you're gonna go on the rules of probability, someone was slinging some ding dong to those chicks, and they just didn't have cell phones to get busted with.
Why couldn't it have been me?
Yeah, well, you think back, like, who the fuck was doing it?
I know who
Which
was.
one of you motherfuckers?
I
was
know
yours?
who it was. They were much cooler than I was. So
Oh,
that art teacher that changed her world.
my art teacher in high school had humongous cans.
Did she?
Yeah, she was an old lady though, huge boobs.
But
And
you
she
were
would
attracted
be-
to her?
Well, we'd look at her boobs. I was a fucking kid. I'm a guy, right? But it was funny is I never said anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Never once like, hey man, look at the size of the tits on what's her name,
Mm-hmm.
and because she was mean too. She didn't like me because she didn't like my brother. She knew my brother, was there before me.
Yeah.
It was like a holy roller, and I liked heavy metal music and shit, right?
Uh-huh.
And she was, I remember one time she was back in the back. The clay,
Yeah.
where you put it in the
Yeah,
kiln.
uh-huh.
It had people's horrible sculptures back
Uh-huh.
there drying, they're going to take home and show their parents. And the phone, the wall phone, you remember those,
uh-huh.
was ringing at the front, and she comes out, and she's running down the aisle.
In slow motion to you.
Those fucking tits are just like, and this guy next to me, Brian's like, oh, look. So
It's horrible.
unspoken,
Yeah.
but it was there. Every single guy at that table was like, to watch the old lady's boobs flop around when she runs up to answer the phone.
I'm gonna give my art teacher a shout out because I got to. Her name was Miss Chipman.
Oh,
Yeah, she was hot. I mean, yes, I'll just say that. I can tell you that other guys were attracted to her as well. I think it is. I think
there was an algebra teacher. She wasn't even my algebra teacher, but I was in her class one day because I was a fucking troublemaker.
Mm-hmm.
I just left my algebra class and walked into hers because it shared a door in one of those outdoor buildings.
Mm-hmm. So she was mathematically smart.
Yeah, and she had crazy. She had, now that I think about it, she was
Crazy
crazy
eyes?
because she had bug eyes all the
Oh
time.
shit! So she was knocking
So I
boots.
probably could have. So one time she comes by my desk. They sent me back into this. So this was one of those cubicles, what they would call them or whatever. Had a classroom, two connecting halls with a bathroom in there.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
But the bathrooms weren't hooked up, I don't think. One of my friends peed in the vents, but
That was just where teachers bang students.
Yeah. So I was sent back there one time to sit in that room.
Uh-huh.
So I'm sitting in there, and she comes in from her classroom to go talk to Mr. Johnson, which Mr. Johnson was a fucking pushover.
Uh-huh.
Like, I still remember this poor guy was just fucking beat, man. Like, had no control over us at all.
Yeah.
The only reason I was in that room.
How is that possible?
I have no idea. I still to this day, I mean.
Feel bad?
Yeah, because I got horrible grades that year. Let me finish the first.
All right.
So she walks through to go talk to him, I guess, probably because our class is way too loud and it's,
Disturbing.
She taught, like, honors algebra or something.
That's too smart.
And she walked through there, and this was like during Beavis and Butthead times.
Yeah.
You know, it's so fucking, I feel like a tool even saying this, but she like walked through, and I was like, hey, baby. And she's like, you do not need to be talking to me like that. And I was like, I just kind of laughed because, I didn't mean anything by it, right? But maybe that was my
your way in.
my way in. Like, hey, I'm in the trouble room right here.
Yeah.
Let's make some more trouble. No, dude, Mr. Johnson.
Uh-huh.
I can't even wrap my head around how that guy had absolutely zero control. I mean, we would come into class. Here's the thing. I knew I had to have 3 math credits to graduate high school. I had 4 years to make 3 math credits. So I was like, I don't have to do shit in here. To me, I look at that as smart thinking, right?
Yeah.
Like, why waste your time trying to pass this class if you don't have to?
Uh-huh.
So I had straight Fs. I hope my kids never listen to this. I had straight Fs the entire year in that class. It was pre-algebra, algebra. I can't remember. Never listened to anything. I'd go in there and just fucking draw pictures.
Are you serious?
Yeah. This guy that sat next to me at one point had a sombrero on and had gone outside and picked up grass clippings and made a gigantic joint like this long out of grass clipping and was sitting in there. Another guy, there's this guy that moved in from out of town that he was called Richie Rich. He was a gangster, right?
Yeah.
White gangster. And he would wear his backpack on the front of him. He said so he could pull his gun out of his bag.
Oh, it makes sense.
And so we would make fun of him, because he's full of shit, right?
Uh-huh.
So me and this guy, Mike, the guy with the sombrero, had drawn a stage. You remember those overhead projectors?
Uh-huh. Yeah, with the the clear.
Okay, so class is happening, right?
What class is it?
Algebra. And me and Mike are up on the overhead projector and have drawn a stage with curtains on the side and a wood plank floor, and it says gang sign shadow show. What the fucking class is going on?
And your teacher's not doing anything.
I fell out of the window, through the screen into the grass, and walked back around and came through the door into the classroom.
This is like television.
Dude, like I said, someone peed in the vent. back in the back. I mean, it was just the guy. I mean, you could tell he was just like, "Fuck this." Like if I think about it, like, I'd be worried about that guy coming to work with a rifle.
Yeah, that's a guy. That's a teacher you want to give a Snickers.
I saw him flip out a few times. You know,
like where he just lost his shit.
Lost his shit, and then so we'd sit there do the whole like,
yeah,
you know, try not to laugh, but
dude, I had a teacher that was similar, but any of that stuff we'd have been put underneath the school at my school.
I don't know.
We had a teacher named Mr. Dexter, but everybody called him Mr. Dextra.
Yeah,
because when he would talk, he always talk like this with a. So we're going to look at the state of Colorado, and we're going to find what's the capital of Colorado. It's Denver. So obviously it was at the end of everything. So Mr. Dextra, but yeah, he didn't have any control over class. But I can't think of any.
You don't remember falling out of a window?
No. And
that was me. Maybe it was someone else.
I mean, I did get away with a lot, but it wasn't. Dude, it was never disrespectful stuff. Like, I would be like, I mean, I took French for 4 years and didn't learn a damn thing. And I loved my French teacher. She was great. But I would go in there and then I'd be like, hey, can I go work out? Or can I go to the gym? Or can I go to art class? You know?
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. I would leave that math class and walk around and then come back later. Dude.
I hope my kid's not that way.
Holy shit. I type in Mr. Johnson, Bartlesville. Here's a picture of Kalen. No shit. Bartlesville, okay, school teachers. Look at this.
Mr. Johnson.
Yeah. Maybe Kalen is Mr. Johnson. That's why he let me do whatever I wanted.
Back in the day.
It was a glitch in the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this guy isn't dead. Like, now I feel like I'm going to videotape myself apologizing to him being an asshole.
He'll be all right. All right. You ready?
Yeah, finish your other Around the World.
Nah. Or did you read it?
Is that the one that the lady chains her bed to
chains herself to the bed?
To try not to smoke?
Yeah, Sunshine Coast, mother. All right, so here's the deal. We're getting a lot of this stuff from Australia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Australia is full of good stuff.
And deadly animals.
Sunshine Coast mother takes extreme measures, chains herself up to stop smoking. A Sunshine Coast mother is so desperate to stop smoking, she has chained herself up in her room to prevent access to cigarettes. I mean, that would work, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Over the past 11 days, Crystal has attached herself to a lengthy chain in her bedroom. She has taken the supervised, albeit extreme action while maintaining access to food and bathroom facilities. The 34-year-old has smoked cigarettes for 20 years, but recent abnormal pap smear result was the catalyst for trying to kick the habit for good. I've thought I can't do it. I can't do a woman Australian accent.
Is it Blights?
I thought about being arrested because the only place in Australia you can quit smoking is prison, she said.
There he is. Go ahead.
I've gone so far as to wonder about being put in intensive care for a week. Drop me off bush with tinned food and water and let me walk back, she laughed. In other words, dude, she's desperate to stop smoking. What do you think?
I think it's for show.
You think so? Do you think she'll stop smoking?
No.
I don't think so either.
So that's why I let us do whatever we want. That was the first year he taught math.
That was?
Mr. Johnson has been teaching at the Mid-High since 1994. He's been teaching for 20 years, math for 13. He has a wife and 2 kids, Chelsea and Nick. He has 2 dogs.
Named his daughter or his son after you. Yeah.
Snoopy and Diego. It's probably easy for him to yell at.
Nick!
His bachelor's degree from Oklahoma State University and a master's degree from the university. It's also his hobbies are sports and golf when he get a chance. I want to see if that one teacher's in here.
Dude, the guy has a master's from TU and he teaches math at in a mid-high.
Yep.
That doesn't look like a good return on investment to me. Does that make sense to you?
I just think that's crazy that he's still there. I wonder what he'd do if I walked into his classroom now.
Just
I'd
sat
probably
down?
be shot by campus police
Yeah.
these days.
Who are you, sir?
I just want to apologize to Mr. Johnson for being a dick in this class.
Why don't you send
He
him a
looks
message?
like a nice guy. We should have him on the podcast.
There you go. Get him on.
Oh, shit.
He won't remember you, or he'll be like, these fucking assholes.
Yeah. I knew you'd amount to nothing.
You're on a podcast.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Hot Zone again.
All right, Hot Zone.
I'll
This
give you a little-
Huffington Post. Did you read this? I got so much anti-women shit from the Huffington Post this week. It's not even funny. Let's
You mean
start this off
anti-women?
with- Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's go.
This is titled from HuffingtonPost.com, 5 things to say in awkward situations instead of I'm sorry. So apparently women say I'm sorry too much because of patriarchy, right?
Right.
Patriarchy is always... I say I'm sorry.
I say I'm sorry.
Even if I have no intention of being sorry.
You say
Okay,
it
so-
to eliminate any type of...
Well, it's just... I think it's being polite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me what you get.
All right.
And you're probably a patriarchal...
I'm a patriarchal
Yeah.
son of a bitch.
So being late for a meeting, what you might be inclined to say, I'm so sorry, I had XYZ to do, right?
Uh-huh.
What's wrong with that? Anything?
Nothing.
Okay. What you should say instead, thank you so much for your patience. I know your time is valuable.
Fuck off.
So let's dive in. Someone said it to me like, you fucking bitch. Okay. Number 2, asking a question.
Oh, shit.
What you might be inclined to say.
Especially if it's somebody that worked for me.
Yeah.
Like, thank you so much for your patience. Let's dive in.
Yeah.
The fuck? You're late.
Yeah. Acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Asking a question. What you might be inclined to say. I'm sorry, can I ask a question? Anything wrong with that?
No.
What you should say instead. Here's my question.
I mean, okay.
Yeah, but I still take it as like abrasive or
It does.
confrontational, right?
I think it's fucking the person that's asking the question.
Here's my question.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
Why is there no water in my cup?
I think that's going to get the wrong response.
Can I ask a question? Why don't I get any water? Like, think of it as asking a waiter, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm sorry, can I get some silverware? Here's my question. Where's my silverware? It's right here with a handful of pubic hair, sir.
And shit.
Yeah. Number 3, not liking something.
Okay.
What you might be inclined to say, I'm sorry, it just didn't think it was that good. What you should say instead, I personally didn't care for it, but here's an idea to improve upon it.
Is this who's
Is this real
saying
life?
this?
Huh?
Who? Like, what
Well, this is
position
to-
are they in?
This is to not to be such a apologetic woman
So
in
I
a
can't-
man-run world.
I can't figure that out at a restaurant. Like, if you're ordering a steak and you get it,
How's the steak? I'm sorry, I just didn't think it was that good.
yeah.
I personally didn't care for it, but here's an idea of how to make it better. It's just people are gonna be like, God, what a fucking dick.
Uh-huh.
Woman or not, man or woman,
Yeah, it
saying this, it does not matter. You're immediately
It's
either
not
a bitch or a dickhead.
Yeah.
Grabbing something or getting by someone. What you might be inclined to say. Yep. Oop, oop, oop. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna reach by you to get that. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna scooch around you. I don't see anything wrong with
No.
what you should say and said.
Oop, oop.
Do you mind handing that to me? Or a simple pardon me?
I mean, that's okay. Pardon me.
Do you mind handing that
No,
to me?
no. That's
Fuck you. Get your own shit.
But pardon me is fine.
Yeah, pardon me. It's fine. I agree.
You don't have
Number
to.
5. If someone asks you a question to clarify something you said, what you might be inclined to say is, I'm sorry for the confusion. What I meant to say was XYZ. I have used that today.
Uh-huh.
I'm a man too in the
Yep.
patriarchy.
Mhm.
Right? What you should say instead. Let me clarify what I was saying about XYZ. I don't see any issue with that either.
No.
This is all comes from a book by Nicole LePin called Boss Bitch, a simple
Oh,
12-step
there you go.
plan to take charge of your career.
Okay. Yep.
Here's the other woman thing I saw. So, Wonder Woman's getting all these rave reviews from the feminists, right?
Uh-huh.
Tabby Biddle, who wrote for the Huffington Post, contributor to the Huffington Post, wrote an article titled, "Why I Didn't Feel Empowered by Wonder Woman." So she goes through and talks about how Wonder Woman's a great movie and how the beginning of it's really good. I still haven't seen it. I want to see it because I want to see Gadot.
Mm-hmm. Gal Gadot.
Well, if this thing wouldn't lock up. Anyway, she's talking about how great the beginning. It shows this island scene where the sisterhood lives without men, and they don't need men, and there's nothing about men in it. And then it goes from there to a man's world where Wonder Woman's just the hero in a man's world, but it doesn't empower her or help her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what she talks about here at the end, like I just feel like you get to a point like you can't fucking win, right?
Right.
Anyway, computer's locked up. At the end of this article, she's like, I want to go back to the beginning, the scene of the island full of strong, powerful women.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was described as a senator. I want to know more about her and know more about how the island operates as a community. Like, it's fake, for one. It's a movie. It's fiction. 2, that would be the fucking boringest movie that anyone ever watched. Here's Wonder Woman's home life described to people that want to know bullshit about stories that has nothing to do. You know what I mean?
Scissor, Xerxes, scissor. Yes, I see. Good one. Felt a bit absurd, especially when you're watching a movie that's completely about strong female superhero.
Go to the very end.
All right.
She says something about a senator, and
I'm looking at the one that says the theater gives out world's most tone-deaf gift bags.
Oh,
I'm looking at the wrong
gives
one.
Gives out cleaning devices. And
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, it's not on there. But anyway, I don't get it, man. The movie was written by or directed by a woman. It's got like a strong female lead in it, and it's still not good enough because they didn't describe better how the island scene at the beginning of the movie that just set the stage for how Wonder Woman was brought about. Like, they didn't go into great detail about how they survive without men on that island, because that would have made a blockbuster of a fucking film.
But the fact that it's fucking based on a comic book.
Yeah.
Go back to the comic book then, bitch. All right, here's one. All right, this one is this one comes from World News Daily. Man accused of ejaculating his boss coffee every day for 4 years. So my question is this: his boss had the coffee for 4 years with semen in it. So now, going forward, his boss can be like, "Fuck, this coffee just doesn't taste right.
Doesn't do it for me anymore."
Why is this coffee? So, Newark, New Jersey, a man was arrested on his work site this morning after it was discovered that he was ejaculating his employer's coffee every morning. I got to give this guy props.
Some serious dedication.
Yeah, every morning he's...
So, how am I going to get to work? I got to get there 10 minutes early because I got to jack off into the coffee pot. James is always here before anyone.
38-year-old man Lewis Williams spent the last 4 years working as a personal assistant to Miss Linda Moore, executive president of Danco Engineering Firm. Among his tasks as Mrs. Moore's assistant, he was to take her phone calls, set her schedule, and bring her a cup of coffee to her desk every day when she arrived at work.
What kind of fucking job is that?
I don't know. That's some shit. After a dispute with his boss this morning, Mr. Williams admitted in front of the dozen coworkers that he had ejaculated in her coffee hundreds of times. According to Brian Little, an intern who witnessed the entire scene, Lewis Williams showed no remorse while he confessed this crime. Well, obviously, he's telling her, right? He almost looked proud when he told her.
It's disgusting.
I've been eating your shit for 4 years, but all this time you've been drinking my cum. He then smiled and explained everything. The angry employee explained that he had been putting extra cream in Miss Moore's coffee 5 days a week over many years. I don't think I need to go on.
Fake news.
I think it is fake news. It's got to be, right?
Yeah. Huffington Post. Another woman one here.
Okay.
It's from the women's section by Genevieve.
That's what you
Patch.
get whenever you don't say sorry.
Coffee with semen?
Yeah.
Madrid would like men to stop manspreading on public transportation. Do you manspread?
I mean, I guess I am right now.
Yeah.
I hate the fucking term manspread.
It's
You mean I just sit here with my nuts in
without
between my
mashing
legs?
your nuts together,
Yeah.
right? Madrid is the newest city to ask men to stop with the dreaded manspread. Municipal transportation company will incorporate the informational signs specifically for avoid manspreading, an English term that refers to the posture of men who excessively open their legs when they sit occupying a seat alongside theirs. The mission of the new icon is to remember the need to maintain civic behavior and to respect the space of everyone on board the bus. Okay, I want you to remember that. Let's say that again. The mission of this new icon is to remember the need to maintain civic behavior and to respect the space of everyone on board the bus. You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I do. I already know where you're going.
What do you do
because of your hate?
when the 400-pound cow sits next to you? Is that her? Are you accepting her body style or his? That doesn't have to be her. You accepting their body style as their choice?
Body style.
That's their choice.
It's become
That's
that.
their
It's body
that's
style.
That's them, right?
Yeah.
Accept it. You got to accept it. Everyone's different. So if they lean into your seat, which happens, I've been on fucking airplanes where I'm mashed next to someone that's 300 pounds or whatever.
Or in the movie theater or whatever, right? Yeah.
They are not respecting my space, right?
Right. Because
But
of their
I
style.
guarantee you, this lady would never tell someone that's fat that they're disrespecting someone else's space because of their obesity.
You know what it is, right? Genevieve hates balls.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Well, just think. I could say, this person's next to me is gigantic, and I could sit down and be like, I have huge nuts. I got to sit like this.
she says, quote, it's not difficult to see women with their legs closed and very uncomfortable because there's a man next to her who is invading her space with his legs. Placing some posters can be the starting point to raise awareness and begin to respect our space.
This is what it's become. This is where we're at, is that they're going to put posters around that say,
Don't manspread.
don't sit with your legs spread.
I mean, I can see if
Like,
you're
if
just
you're-
being an asshole.
Yeah, if you're like,
people are, around
that's
you.
being a dickhead, but somebody's going to tell you that.
No.
But the idea that you can't sit, like, am I supposed to sit like this?
You're supposed to set like a effeminate,
Yeah.
unmasculine man. I mean, the thing is like if there's limited space on a place, I'm gonna
do my best.
space.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit there and just have my fucking legs spread apart. But to go out and to say this is some
We have
sort
a
of
campaign.
this is some sort of like coordinated attack on women is ridiculous to me.
I
And the
agree.
fact that you
I agree with
are in the same breath are like praising body awareness of morbidly obese people and saying that that's accept everyone. That's invading my space. Have
Well,
the same fucking
yeah,
thing against that.
What are they going to do whenever it's like, oh, there's pregnant women now? They.
I guess you charge plane tickets by the pound. It's like freight.
By the pound?
Yeah.
Be all right.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I'd be like a wrestler. Like, I can't walk. Weigh me. I'm about to pass out. 145. Put it down. I get the towel up, man. I'm gonna take my clothes off and be buck naked. Do the whole.
Cutting away.
All
Man,
right.
wait, you're awfully. You're cutting weight. What are you cutting? Why you got that scuba suit on? You're out here doing the bicycle. Oh, I'm going on a vacation.
Flying to Dallas next week. I got lowest plane ticket I've ever got. $19. I'm trying to beat it. All right, Huffington Post. We love women again, but this is from the crime section. Jersey City police caught on video kicking innocent man on fire. Did you watch this?
Yeah.
The best thing about this. Okay, so the Jersey City police
offers you managed apartments with a
Yeah.
The Jersey City police were on a
They were chasing a guy. They were chasing a guy in a car.
police chase and a shooting caused a fiery crash. igniting a man's clothes on fire in the process. The man on fire was not the suspect pursued by officers, but a bystander.
How the fuck did he just get caught on fire? That, like, he must have been just bad luck spot, dude.
Yeah, though it's not clear the officers in the video were aware of that at the time they approached him with guns drawn. They began kicking him as he rolled around the ground in flames, panic. So he's walking down the street. Some dude's car blows up next to him. He catches on fire. Here come the cops, and they start kicking him.
This shit. It's horrible,
So
dude.
a bystander said they didn't help him. They just started kicking him and grabbing him.
They did, too.
So if you watch the video, they're kicking him, right?
In his head.
Yeah, kicking
Trying to kick his head.
beating the shit out of him, right?
Uh-huh.
They say, as it should be, the entire incident is being fully investigated.
Yeah.
But my favorite line in here is
Hold on, let me.
this. Taking swift action is always elegant, but the video clearly shows that the officers acted quickly to extinguish the flames and pull this man out of harm's way. Okay, hold on.
The video,
No.
it's too much.
It says, but a statement distributed to local media, the association's president, Carmine Disbrow, said, though it looked violent, officers were actually trying to extinguish the flames.
Right.
They're beating the shit out of them. They're not trying to put the flames out.
I'm gonna.
Huh?
I'm watching the video.
Oh.
I can't. Oh yeah. Yeah, dude did his best.
Stop, dropping,
Stop, drop, and roll, but he's not going out.
No. He's got gasoline on him or something.
He's not going out. Not going out. Then he's
What sucks?
a little better. He's oh shit! They kicked him right in his neck.
What's crazy
Oh, now
is-
they're dragging him by his feet.
What's crazy is the guy that they're after is running off, laughing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
crazy. I'm gonna do one more. Well, how long is this? I feel like it's forever.
It is 2 hours and 6 minutes.
Here's my last story.
All right,
of the
let's
night.
we're done after this.
Huffington Post. Healthy living. What experts say about waiting to cut your What experts say about waiting to cut your baby's umbilical cord. So you know when you have a baby, right? You know they have you cut the umbilical cord.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I asked if I could use my pocket knife. They wouldn't let me.
Teeth.
And like you go to cut it, it's like tough. It's a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah. It's calloused.
Yeah, it's rough. So this article talks about how more and more people are just leaving the placenta attached to the umbilical cord and letting it rot off on its own.
Oh, God.
Making special bags. The birthing practice known as lotus birth, in which parents allow a newborn's umbilical cord to remain attached to the placenta until the cord breaks naturally, is enjoying some popularity, perhaps especially among those who favor home births and assign special significance to the expelled placenta. In lotus birth, rather than cutting the umbilical cord within a few minutes of birth, the parents carry the placenta, still connected to the newborn baby, in a bowl or special pouch for days, long after it has ceased to actively transport blood to the newborn.
Wait a minute. All right. So my question immediately is this. When a pup is born, what happens?
Like a dog?
Yeah, like a dog. How long's that?
Mom eats the placenta.
Right. I think that's what should happen.
No, I think so too. Have you ever seen one though?
Yeah.
A human placenta is like. There's a lot of stuff out on.
I mean,
the
these
table
people
at
want to
that
be
point,
like,
too.
they want to be in tune with nature, right?
Yeah, this is what's funny. It says
We should.
this Dr. William Schweizer says there's significant risk associated with keeping a newborn connected to what is essentially a dead and decaying organ. Risks center around concern for infection of placenta, which can spread to the baby. The placenta is dead tissue, and because of this, the blood in it is prone to bacterial overgrowth.
It's got to be bad. I mean, I agree with
I was
that.
just thinking, like, whenever I see the little nubule of umbilical cord, it kind of grosses me out anyway, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you always rubbing it with alcohol and stuff.
I was grossed out too.
Yeah.
This is because of something dead.
Yeah. Well, here's what I was sitting there thinking, like, well, fuck, man, worrying about buckling up your kid, and then you're gonna buckle up the placenta next to him, in a bag. Here's an image shared on Instagram. Shows a newborn kid and a placenta next to him.
The fuck? For real?
Uh-huh.
These people are serious. This is not like something that they're like.
So this lady Buckley explained that cutting her first child's umbilical cord felt strange and uncomfortable, describing the feeling as like cutting through a boneless toe. The experience so unnerved her that she decided to have a lotus birth with her second child. After her baby was born, Buckley placed the placenta in a red velvet bag that she had sewn. The umbilical cord eventually broke apart after 6 days, she wrote. During that time, she and her family rubbed the placenta with salt and lavender oil every 24 hours, noting that it developed a, quote, a slightly meaty smell that attracted the attention of the family cat.
No shit.
I mean, what would you do if you're outside at the park with your kid and you get the placenta, there's birds pecking at it, like you just let them have at it, or is that part of the nature's ring? Like, oh, here we are at the park. Let the birds have a little placenta, the cat, dogs, whatever.
It's a spiritual purpose, this thing. So the history of the lotus birth, although recently arisen as an alternative birth phenomenon in the clinical West, super delayed 1+ hours post-birth umbilical severance is common in home births, and umbilical non-severance has been recorded in a number of cultures, including that of the Balinese and of some Aboriginal peoples such as the Kung. Early American pioneers in written diaries and letters reported practicing a non-severance of the umbilicus as a preventative measure to protect the infant from open wound and infection. You're carrying around an open...
Yeah, like a rotting organ.
Yeah. I really, I mean, like, I don't get it, dude.
Holy shit, I just now looked at this teacher that you sent that.
Mm-hmm. Right?
These teachers today.
Look at that one. Unreal.
This teacher?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All
I
right,
mean,
so
folks, if you want to leave your baby attached to that telephone cord, I guess you can.
meat bag.
Yeah.
Don't put it in the seat next
But,
to you. There'll
yeah.
be a fucking sign in Madrid.
Yeah.
And respect the people next to you.
Fucking cats all over the place.
All right, that's it. 2 hours and something.
2 hours, 12 minutes. That's a good one.
Yeah. All right, make sure and like and share a Facebook page. Subscribe to the YouTube thing below if you're watching on YouTube. Email us at spearheadx@yahoo.com with any show ideas, hate mail, or just to say what's up. Other than that, that's all I got.
All right. Adios, muchachos.